Every country in the world has its traditions, customs and native sports, and Peru is no exception. A stroll around Lima tells you a lot about not only the 9 million inhabitants of the capital, but also gives you an impression of the country as a whole. Native to South America, the potato is a staple of every diet here. There are about 3,000 different varieties of the vegetable in Peru alone. Fish is another mainstay of the Peruvian kitchen table. The national dish, called ceviche, consists of raw fish marinated in lime and lemon juice. Despite Peru's strong economic growth in recent times, the slums on the outskirts of the capital are a reminder that over 50% of the population live in poverty. In Peru, festivals are widely celebrated. On Valentine's Day in the Parque del Amor, couples get together to see who has the greatest stamina for the longest kiss. The national sport of Peru is Paleta Fronton, more commonly known as fronton. Native to this country, it's best described as a mixture of tennis and squash.
It's quite a physical game, and you have to be pretty strong and fit to play the different strokes, both forehand and backhand, and especially the volleys. It requires a lot of agility, much more so than tennis, for example. You can compare it to squash, where you sweat a lot. With this game, you're outside, you've got the sun on your back.
You can play both singles and doubles fronton. A singles match is played over 5 sets, and each set is the first to 15 points. In doubles, it's the best of 3, and the sets are played to 21 points. Players take turns hitting a ball against a wall. A point is won when your opponent is unable to return, when the ball bounces twice, or when it goes out of bounds. It's a straightforward game, and it's one of the few sports in Peru that's practiced by people from all social backgrounds.
One of these paddles costs around $30, and the balls cost around $4 to $5 each. The paddles can last up to 10 years, and the balls about a month. But then you can re-inflate them, and they'll last 3 months. It's cheap. The accessories don't cost much.
You don't need to be a member of a club to enjoy a game of fronton. There are 8,000 recreational players in Peru and another 2,500 who compete at national and regional level. Lima alone has 1,200 courts, of which 400 are open to the public, like this one here in Surco, a working-class neighbourhood not far from the city centre. Local residents try to make use of the courts as often as they can.
Yeah, especially on weekends or after work. After working really hard from Monday to Friday. On Saturdays and Sundays, we try to get down here, have a bit of fun, relieve the stress for a while, be in harmony, sweat a lot, and have fun playing this wonderful sport.
First played by a small group of socialites who were members of Lima's most exclusive sports clubs, fronton dates back to the 1940s. The Club de Regatas was the watering hole of the richest and most influential people of the time. The club featured a variety of sports like sailing, rowing and pelota a mano, where a player hits a ball against a wall with his hand. That is until someone at the club came up with the idea of using a paddle instead of a palm. Paleta Fronton was born.
The sport developed little by little when more and more people started to play it. After a while, an official fronton court was finally developed. This court consists of a cement wall and floor, pretty simple. Other clubs followed suit and developed their own courts. And that was how Paleta Fronton came about, how the sport evolved.
Claudio Suarez has played for over 50 years, and he's seen fronton grow into the sport it is today.
When the frontonistas first started playing this sport in 1945, they would take a tennis ball and shave it, remove all the fuzz from its surface, and then they would play with the hairless ball. Gradually, with evolution and technology, we have developed this rubber ball made to official specifications, which bounces differently. In the first days of the sport, the players would take pieces of wood from crates of whiskey, and then the first frontonista decided to cut one of these whiskey crates and make a wooden paddle from it. The most recent paddles are made of carbon fibre. They're synthetic, lightweight paddles that can hit the ball in the same way as the wooden ones, but are able to absorb the force of the hit as well.
Despite its growing popularity, football, not fronton, remains the most widely played and watched sport in Peru. Lima's three big clubs, Sporting Cristal, Universitario and Alianza, pack in the crowds when they play at home. Unsurprisingly, Paleta Fronton tournaments don't enjoy quite the same popularity. Most events go practically unnoticed despite TV coverage.
Paleta Fronton is growing, but people need to be motivated to come and watch these sporting events and get a bit more involved. They also need to understand what it's about. The tactics, the strategies, or the rules of the game. That's what's missing at the moment.
Word is spreading fast about how cheap and accessible this sport is. The number of frontonistas who play competitively is growing by around 10% every year. As more and more people pick up a paddle, at least the future looks bright for Peru's unheralded national sport.